Okay, it's hard to believe, but we finished the NWSL for all of 2020 thanks to the final 2 games of the Fall Series happening last weekend. So first, Orlando Pride refused to go quietly, staging a 3-goal comeback in the second half to draw level with the North Carolina 3-3. Debinha had a first half brace, Lynn Williams added one of her own there in the middle, and then Marissa Viggiano, who Pride head coach Mark Skinner has absolutely raved about, scored first in the second half. Then Kristen Edmonds made it 3-2 in the 71st minute. That's plenty of time. Finally, Marta provided the service off a free kick and Ali Haran found the equalizer. So it's a brilliant moment for Haran, especially considering her path through the NWSL. She was drafted by the Reign in 2018, but not signed before she went over to Iceland to play. She made her return thanks to the North Carolina Courage in 2019, but she never played a minute and was actually waived. Then she made the Houston Dash's preseason roster for 2020, but didn't make the cut for Challenge Cup, and then finally was signed to a short-term contract by the Pride for the Fall Series. For the final game of the year, OL Reign struck twice against Utah Royals FC. Sophia Huerta and Leia Pruitt scored those goals. Huerta even added a little spice, going 5-hole to borrow a hockey term up against Abby Smith of Utah. Now, it was the first win and first shutout of the Fall Series for the Reign, but Utah will finish as one of the 2 teams to go through the Fall Series without a single win. Captain Amy Rodriguez said after the game that they were really looking forward to finally getting a real attempt at a fresh start for 2021. All right, so with the Fall Series complete, let's take a quick spin through all of the players and see who had some of the best performances through these games. Here's my WICC best 11 of the Fall Series, and as we saw this year in the NWSL, it was all about the goals, so I'm gonna go stacked offensively with a 3-4-3 and just aim for chaos. Who doesn't love chaos? All right, but in goal, I'm gonna go with Portland Thorns. Britt Eckerstrom played all 360 minutes, only allowed 3 goals, and made 19 saves. I trust her. All right, on the back line, another Portland Thorns player, Megan Klingenberg, had a very solid Fall Series, leading her team to 3 wins and a draw. Now, the Chicago Red Stars might not have had the best results this fall, but Sarah Gordon showed how important NWSL form is to the national team right now. And I also think Paige Nielsen doesn't get enough credit for her leadership on the Washington Spirit back line. In midfield, double dose of the dash, of course, Christy Mewis, Shea Groom in the mix, and a lock for me, as always, Debinha. She had 4 goals in the Fall Series. Finally, Marissa Viggiano of the Pride had a fantastic set of games despite the Pride's results. And up top, if anyone is a lock for this best 11, it is Christine Sinclair of Portland Thorns FC, 6 goals in 4 games. All right, I also talked to Vlatko Andonovski, head coach of the U.S. Women's National Team last week, and even though he has his eye on Midge Purce as an outside back for the U.S. National Team, he was particularly impressed by her performance as a forward for Sky Blue FC. Me as well, she's on my right wing here. And then finally, Kealia Watt also got the call-up for the national team, and she picks up my final spot of this best 11 as well. Earlier in the show, I said that Utah Royals FC were one of 2 teams in the league to finish without a win in this Fall Series, and I thought it would be worth taking a quick look at all 9 teams and where they stand before we get an NWSL expansion draft and well before the 2021 season. All right, now, despite being knocked out by Portland in the Challenge Cup and what they look like in the Fall Series, the North Carolina Courage are, I think, still the team to beat for the regular NWSL season that we all know and love. Now, if they have all of their pieces, they might be a bit more human next year, but they do have depth and Debinha. All right, Portland had a bit of a mess of a Challenge Cup, but Sophia Smith's debut, along with Simone Charlie and the emergence of Kelly Hubley, are all good signs for the future of this team. Lindsey Horan showed how much weight she can carry, and Thorns will probably add some more pieces before 2021 with an eye on winning it all. The Houston Dash have obviously been the big success story of 2020. Christy Mewis, Shea Groom, and goalkeeper Jane Campbell all earning U.S. Women's National Team call-ups to boot. I absolutely do believe this team is going to be a top 4 contender moving forward, but also I need to see the Dash against a full-strength North Carolina Courage. All right, Chicago Red Stars really used 2020 as a development exercise. It's not that results didn't matter, but it really always felt like they were secondary to whatever they were working on building. They'd had some moments, good and bad, but when they get Julie Ertz and Yuki Nagasato back in the midfield in 2021, it's definitely going to be a lot easier for them to find results. Sky Blue FC finished in the top 4 for both the Challenge Cup and the Fall Series, a huge turnaround from previous results. One major question for 2021, how does Carly Lloyd fit on this team? Still, the future is bright, and Midge Purse found her footing in Jersey as a forward in the Fall Series. All right, Washington Spirit are definitely one of the more interesting teams in the league right now, especially after Rose Lavelle obviously opted for Manchester City. Ashley Sanchez has had a strong rookie year, just like everyone else in the NWSL. It's also been a little strange, but she is going to be a major key to this roster. OL Reign had a rough go of it at the Challenge Cup and ended the year at least with a win, but it is really hard to just see what the plan is brewing in Washington State. Now granted, they've missed Megan Rapinoe for this year, Jess Fishlock has been out on loan, right? But expectations are high for OL Reign thanks to Lyon, and they haven't yet been met. Utah Royals FC definitely just need that fresh start for 2021. First, they're going to have to figure out their head coach situation. Amy Lepelbet has taken on head coaching duties for the Fall Series, and she might get the nod for 21. The emphasis will be on culture, but this team had big aspirations when they targeted Buhadi and Marazan from Lyon, and hopefully they get that spirit back too and look at their roster. Finally, the Orlando Pride. Now, Ali Krieger and Ashlyn Harris had some strong words about the 2020 season, which obviously did not go as planned for this team at all, but Harris also said that the mentality of some of the players wasn't up to her standards. But the real question for the Pride is if they can assemble as promising a roster as they had for the start of 2020. Hopefully the Pride get their do-over for 2021. So much happened last Sunday in England. All right, despite all of the injuries, Arsenal kept their perfect start to the WSL season with a 6-1 win over their North London rivals Tottenham. Viv Medema scored a giant and historic hat trick for the Gunners. Her first goal broke the all-time WSL scoring record at goal number 50, but she finished the day with 52 goals in 50 league appearances. Katie McCabe had a beautiful free kick, which didn't quite steal the show for Medema, but is definitely worth the watch. Also newsworthy before the match, Alex Morgan tweeted a reason why we haven't seen her name on a game day roster. Quote, "A small setback keeping me from doing what I love. Can't wait to get on the field with this team in the next few weeks. Literally can't wait," unquote. Right, Sam Mewis saved the day for Man City with her goal providing the equalizer to salvage a point against Reading. The Robins of Bristol City are still looking for their first point of the WSL season, falling at home to Birmingham 4-0. Tobin Heath had the goal of the game, possibly the day for Manchester United, plus Kristen Press scored one of her own, and Alessia Russo scored a brace to power Manchester United past West Ham 4-2. Those new signings for the Red Devils are certainly coming through already. All right, Everton finally dropped some points. They drew 2-2 against Brighton, which has some early consequences on the league table. Arsenal are now 5 wins through 5 games, sitting atop the table with 15 points, but it's Everton and Manchester United right behind them with 13 points each. Chelsea is in 4th with 10 points, though their last match against Aston Villa was actually postponed. And then Manchester City is in 5th with 8 points. All right, the NWSL might be done on the field for 2020, but there's still some major NWSL nonsense to come. We've got the Racing Louisville FC expansion draft coming up in November, so please stay tuned there. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of news around that. Plus, the U.S. Women's National Team are in camp, so hopefully more on that front next week. All right, one quick note from Spain. Real Madrid picked up their first ever win for the women with a 3-1 victory over Rayo. They're up to 12th on the table, but 6 teams are actually sitting on 4 points apiece, so there is plenty of room to keep moving up. All right, thanks as always for joining me on The Fixture by WICC. Make sure you're following at ICC Women on Twitter and Instagram for all of the latest. Make sure you never miss a game, and then like International Champions Cup on Facebook so you don't miss anything there either. You can find me at It's Meg Linehan on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching.